The UK's new Online Safety Act is about protecting kids, which is great. Kids are incredibly vulnerable online, so who wouldn't want them to be safe on there? But when does it stop being about safety and start being about censorship? Well, there are absolutely some positives with the act, like ensuring kids can't accidentally stumble upon porn or that they can't seek it out themselves. That's great because porn can be detrimental to everybody, but especially children. But this act is so much more than requiring age verification to view porn. You are now required to prove your age on most websites and social media platforms in the UK to view a plethora of different things online. Like, I was asked to show my ID to go on a subreddit for wine earlier. It's kind of getting insane. Alongside this, educational sites such as Wikipedia are also at risk under the Act, as Ofcom are on track to class Wikipedia as a Category 1 platform, and if or when it's classified as that, it will have the strictest rules imposed upon it, which means that most pages will be under age verification, and maybe a couple of things could be banned completely off of the site, and that's just really scary to think about. The Act also bans journalism that the UK government doesn't agree with. The English subreddit for the Qatari news network, Al Jazeera, which has been reporting on the Palestinian genocide from within Gaza City for a few years now, I think, is hidden behind age verification. This is something that the UK government has every reason to want to censor because of their unwavering support of Israel, and they can so easily get away with this by disguising it as protecting children, which is exactly what they're doing. It is also worth mentioning that the ID that you show to these websites do not go to the government, but they go to a private company, which we have no idea if we can trust those or not. So obviously that is a huge privacy issue. Like, who knows what they could be doing with our identities? Now, obviously that's just the most recent example. Throughout history, especially the late 20th century, within the US and the UK, gay people were often equated to pedophiles by the media and politicians, which would also prompt the public to do the same, since obviously they can't think for themselves. And laws were pushed by politicians to keep gay people from working with or around children. They would also push laws from keeping children from being educated about the LGBTQ plus community as well, claiming that knowledge on them would corrupt children and gay people are too dangerous to be around them, which is just absolutely insane. I can't even begin to imagine how someone's brain could go there. Like, how you could be so hell-bent on villainizing an entire community of people just because you personally don't agree with them. First of all, I don't personally understand how someone can't agree with that. I mean, I know I'm not alone in that, but it's absolutely insane that these people will do anything to keep knowledge of a very marginalized community away from the people who need to know the most about it. I think that the less we actually educate children about this, the more we're going to be persecuted throughout the rest of the future. And I mean, I feel like that's just what things like this kind of want to do. I feel like, they don't want LGBT people to be the norm. That's not something that they want. I think that's just so very clear. Like, for example, in 1998, the UK passed Section 28, which basically just prevented teachers from promoting homosexuality to children and banned it from being discussed in a positive light. And it's absolutely crazy how, like, recently that got overturned. Like, it was only just abolished in the year 2003 in England and Wales and 2000 in Scotland. It's just so mental that, like, things like this are able to pass under the guise of protecting children. Not only did it ban promoting homosexuality and discussing it in a positive light during class in schools, it also banned books that literally would just discuss the existence of gay people. And then also, 11 years prior, in 1997, the notorious homophobe Anita Bryant would get Florida's anti-discrimination laws for gay people overturned with her Save the Children campaign, claiming that gay rights were could endanger kids. And then recently in 2022, Florida kind of managed to bring back the UK's Section 28 in a way with their Don't Say Gay bill, which prohibits the discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity, which we'll get onto in a minute, within classrooms, and also, of course, bans a variety of books. But then when they say that it prohibits the discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity, what they don't mean is straight people and cisgender people. The only people that in that aspect they are banning are gay people, bi people, and trans people. As long as you're normal to them, then they won't ban discussion of it. I think that back then, when Section 28 and Anita Bryant was rampaging across the world, they were very, very much attempting to, I guess, like, eradicate gay people under the guise of protecting children. It's so blatantly clear if you look into it, and that is exactly what's happening again now to trans people and drag queens. I think that ever since Donald Trump first got elected in 2016, the world has become such a horrible, divided place. I mean, we were making such good progress until then, and I think ever since he first got into office in 2016, things have just been on a downward spiral. I mean, just a really recent example is same-sex marriage, which was only just legalized all over the United States in 2015. That is 10 years ago, and already the Supreme Court are being asked to consider abolishing it again. Awful. It's insane. And honestly, with who is in charge of America right now, I don't see it being saved. I can definitely see it being abolished again, and it is absolutely crazy. But I think the biggest issue in the USA and the UK right now is what is happening to trans people. Trans healthcare is being banned, and trans people are no longer being legally recognized as the gender that they identify with. And there is definitely a lot more tension around drag queens too. I mean, for example, Drag Queen's Story Hour is causing outrage because apparently it's promoting sexual themes to children or whatever. It's just bullshit. So yeah, basically this is all happening to trans people and drag queens, and it's the exact same thing as what was happening to gay people all those years ago, and to an extent it's still happening to gay people. But I mean, the focus is trans people and drag queens right now. That is a much more prominent issue, I think, as now by politicians, by fake feminists like J.K. Rowling, and a lot of gay people as well. Trans people are being portrayed as pedophiles and sexual predators, which is something that there is absolutely no evidence for. There never has been, and there never will be, because it's just not true. And the fact that some gay people, like for example the LGBT Alliance here in the UK, are fully on board with this is absolutely abhorrent. I mean, the whole thing is abhorrent, but especially with gay people getting involved, as if we weren't the exact same community this was happening to, like, what, 30 years ago, and is still happening to, and will come back. As soon as they're done with trans people, they're coming for us again. It is so blatantly clear, and we need to stick together. There is no such thing as LGB, no such thing. Without the T, the community doesn't exist. The person to throw the first stone at the Stonewall riots was a trans woman. If it weren't for trans women, I don't think any of us would have any kind of acceptance today, or at least it would be very little. But this constant spreading of disinformation is so damaging to trans people, just the way it was to gay people 30 something years ago. I mean, they're just a community trying to live, trying to get by, and they are so small. They make up 0.5% of the population in the UK, yet a huge portion of the population, including the current Prime Minister and his fucking pathetic government, are trying to eradicate them. And again, this is all under the disguise of protecting children, and it's just such a clear lie. And the fact that some really stupid people are falling for it is crazy. So I guess, in conclusion, governments and the media just love disguising censorship and oppression and hate as protecting children, hiding vital information such as coverage of the genocide in Palestine and Wikipedia behind an age verification wall will not protect children. It will be extremely damaging to children, actually, if they cannot access the information that they will need to know as they're growing up. Like, such as something so simple as sex education. What happens if Wikipedia is banned and you can't access the sex education on there? then if we really are trying to protect children from seeing things like that, then there's nothing stopping the government from then banning sex education to be taught within schools and banning textbooks about sex education. It's just such a downward spiral and it's so gross and wrong. And not only that, but not allowing children to be educated on the LGBTQ plus community will not protect the children either. In fact, it will only do lasting damage to the children if all they see on the news, if all they hear from their parents, from people around them, their government, that they are dangerous and unnatural and unwanted. What is that going to do for their mental health? Because, I mean, it's not going to do any good. And this is especially true with trans kids because they are the main discussion of like every government right now, and it is so gross. They are rapidly losing their access to life-saving healthcare. Keyword life-saving. Trans healthcare does not harm children. All children are allowed at like a young age of puberty blockers, and if a child realizes, oh, I'm not trans, then all they need to do is come off of puberty blockers and they are reversed. I mean, there's that whole argument right now that puberty blockers are dangerous to children and damaging whatever, yet children with precocious puberty can still have access to them. They're not dangerous. That is proof that they're not dangerous. What it is bigotry, oppression, censorship, all of that. Not to mention that this also threatens parental rights. The only person who should be telling a child what medication they can have, what they can and can't do with their lives as a child, are their parents, not the government. The government cannot police parents. They shouldn't be policing parents on how to raise their children. If a parent believes that their child needs trans healthcare to stay healthy, to stay alive, then their child needs trans healthcare. It is not up to the government, it is up to the parent. So I think that's all I have to say right now. Thank you for tuning in, if you did. This is very different to what I have been making, but I don't want to box myself into one thing. Like, I think my past, 4 videos were on music, and very specifically Kesha, which I love. She's, my favourite person. But, like I said, I don't want to box myself into one specific thing. So if you did enjoy this or find it helpful, I think I kind of lost what I was saying, halfway through because my emotions were getting in the way, but I think I do stand by everything that I said. So if you did enjoy or agree or whatever, you should totally comment, subscribe, all that, because that would be pretty cool. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful, useful, or anything. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, which might be more lighthearted. We'll see. Yeah.